I walked into a buddy of mine's guitar shop one day, and he was building a black guitar. I said, "That's fancy. Who's it for?" He said, "Johnny Cash." I went, "Can I go with you when you deliver it?" And he said, "Yeah." So I kept up with the progress of it. So I went with my buddy Daddy Farrington to the Old Time Picking Parlor in Nashville. We went to Cowboy Jack Clement's studio and to deliver Johnny Cash's guitar. And when the door swung open, there was Cowboy Jack dancing with a martini glass on his head, and Cash was sitting over here singing the Wabash Cannonball for Cowboy to dance to. And I didn't know when that door swung open. I just met two lifelong friends. And I walked in, and Cowboy said, "Get the mandolin." We'd never met before. He knew I played mandolin, so I played the mandolin for a while. And then John stood up, he stuck out his hand, he said, "My name's Johnny Cash." I said, "I'm Marty Stuart." He said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Mississippi." He said, "Where you been?" I said, "Getting ready." And he just kept shaking my hand. And about 2 weeks later, I was playing off a handful of shows that just tied me over with Doc and Merle Watson. We were in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That was the last show. I went back to the hotel after the show, and the red light on my phone was blinking in the hotel room at that time. My mom called and said, "Bob Wooten's looking for you." And Bob was Johnny Cash's guitar player. So I called him back. He said, "John wants to know if you would be interested in going to work with us." I said, "This is a good time to talk about it." I said, "Pretty much." I said, "When would I start?" He said, "How about tomorrow?" I said, "Where are you?" He said, "We're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa." It was a 2-hour ride. So I got to rent a car, went to the hotel, and Bob met me in the lobby. They had a matinee the next afternoon. Bob said, "John wants you to start on the matinee. No rehearsal." I said, "All right." So Bob got me acclimated to what the schedule was. I went to the coffee shop, and the maitre d' came up and said, "Mr. Cash is on the phone for you." So I go to the phone. He said, "Hello, son. How are you?" I said, "Fine." He said, "Glad to have you. We'll talk about it later." I said, "Sure." He says, "You got anything black to wear?" I said, "Probably." And he says, "Well, you probably ought to put it on about 2 o'clock. And he says, "I'm probably going to take a nap, and I'll probably see you later." He said, "You know all my songs?" I said, "Probably so." He said, "Well, we'll probably play about 3 o'clock. Click. And that was how I got the job. And they stood me on my mark, and he walked out. I didn't see him before the show. And he whirled around and said, "Hello, I'm Johnny Cash," and we went into Folsom Prison Blues. And I became that 12-year-old kid again. I didn't want anybody to see me cry, but I did. I hung my head. I thought, the American dream is peaking right now. And he became my old chief, and he stayed my chief, and he's still my chief, you know.